This is CHSR 97.9 FM here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. This is Python's Paradise, your film and music show, and this is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And folks, we have a return guest here today. He wrote the ultimate Friday the 13th trivia book, which he promoted last year. Almost on the day. It would have been January 14th last year. Almost on that time here today. Well, now he has got the ultimate Halloween trivia book, as well as a book he's done in dedication to his father called Christ Beats Cancer. How do you do, Scotty McCoy?
I'm doing good, Greg. How are you doing?
Well, if I get home fine tonight over the stupid freezing rain, I'll be set. I hate winter.
I agree. Last year when we did the interview, we had snow, and today we had snow again. So 2 years in a row. Let's go for a repeat next year.
Well, I don't think we got snow. We just got the freezing rain, and yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't like any of that. Winter's my least favorite time of year. And I got to say, whoever wrote that song, Let It Snow, they're welcome to come and shovel out my driveway, anytime. See how...
They can do the same for me.
Yeah, see how chirpy their songs are then.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, we've been keeping in touch and whatnot, and keeping things in... Jack, watching you have selfies taken at work. I never seen anybody smile so much while they're at work. What is wrong with you?
I have no clue. I just love my job. I mean, I put in, 6 years of college, and I got 2 degrees and a technical certificate, and I ended up getting a job as a software database engineer, and I loved taking, selfies of myself at work because it's just what I love to do. It's what I studied for, and then I just recently started at Champlain College, which is my alma mater, where I now am a college professor, and I begin teaching on Monday. I actually got a text this morning, which is from my email, and it was from one of my students. And I'm like, the class didn't even start yet. It doesn't start till Monday, and they're already asking for help. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I get that text at 2 in the morning, and I couldn't go back to bed.
Yeah. Speaking of
so
which,
welcome to the world of online education.
Speaking of which, what were these pictures of you on Facebook? Somebody taking pictures of you laying in your boxer shorts. I was like,
I know. I don't know. I'm gonna find that culprit though. I don't know what they were thinking, but somebody's taking pictures of me sleeping, and I'm gonna find that culprit.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, wow. You gotta learn to lock your door.
I know.
Yeah. Well, last year, of course, you promoted the Ultimate Friday the 13th trivia book, and I've got that home, and I started, checking off, like I would answer them myself, and then do a little, go back and see how many percentages I got right, and I think the original Friday the 13th, I think I got the most stuff right on, and then after that kept dwindling down, and Jason X I just out and out failed because, well, I think it's a pretty shitty movie, and I only saw it the one time, and, it's like The Room of the Friday the 13th movies. It's kind of a joke, but anyway, I just wondering, out of people from those movies, any of them get your book?
I know Adam Marcus did, the director of Jason Goes to Hell, and he promotes the crap out of it. Like he's been dwindling down a lot lately because he's been busy doing other projects. I forget the name of the one movie he's doing. I think it's called Secret Santa, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And he's been busy doing that. I actually interviewed him for an upcoming project, which we'll talk about a little later.
Yeah.
But I mean, he bought one of my books, and he promotes a lot of it. And I know Nancy Jean McLaughlin, she is a sweetheart. I talk to her on a daily basis in Messenger. Yeah. We talk on the phone every now and again. I mean, I never thought these books would bring me so much, fame with these celebrities, and you're actually the one I have to thank for that, because you actually gave her my number, and she called me, and then ever since we became really close, and it was really cool It's really cool being her friend. And she ended up buying a copy of my book, and she loves it. And she said that whenever I'm in L.A., she said that she would be more than happy to set me up with a book signing at the Universal Studios.
Yeah, I love Nancy. Yes, I'm I'm still in touch with her very much too. I've had her on here twice now, and yeah, Adam Marcus, I haven't had on. I haven't had anybody from Jason Goes to Hell as of yet, but I have reached out to
Right.
him for the film's 25th anniversary, and
Hmm.
so I'll see how that goes. But since
Yeah,
last,
and also
yeah,
Elizabeth, not Elizabeth, what's her name? Julie Michaels. She plays FBI agent Elizabeth Marcus, the one that starts the movie. You
yeah,
know, the one they think is going to be the final girl, that blonde that gets in the shower in the cabin. It's really a trap. I
yeah.
interviewed her as well, and she's a stunt coordinator and also still acts and everything. And I interviewed her, and she was very sweet.
You know
So maybe I
what?
could say up with her too.
Oh, he reached out to her and never heard back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
I'm
think she had.
shocked. Yeah, I messaged her through Facebook.
I think she had the same reaction to me as she had with Jason.
Oh, wow.
Ran away. I don't know. I never heard back. Um, I don't know. I know I got a thing from Adam Marcus saying he accepted my request, but I'm to the point now when I get these messages saying that they accepted my request. Uh, that Facebook thing. I can't really be guaranteed that they're getting back to me. So I really don't
Right.
know the story behind that. But I've had a lot of the Friday the 13th alumni on my show. So yeah. And of course, I got to send kudos to you about doing the suicide, depression, doubtfire face challenge
Yeah.
too. You're the only male that's done it that I threw that out to, but I find females are a lot easier to ask.
Right.
Well, I've had some weird experiences throwing it out to males. I don't know. So, but
Yeah.
Nancy Mc,
And speaking of the Doubtfire challenge, when I was actually on when we filmed the show last year.
yeah,
You asked me to do it if I would be open to doing it because I suffer from depression and all that, and I was more than willing to do that, and
mhm,
I was so great and honored that you asked me, so I did do it. And I nominated Adrian King, Shavar Ross, Melanie Kinnaman, Lar Park Lincoln, and Jennifer Banco.
yeah.
So why don't I issue the challenge now? And I'm hoping she's watching, and we'll tag her in it once once the episode airs. But I
Throw
would
it out
like
to all.
Deborah Voorhees.
Yeah,
Huh?
throw it out to all five of them again here for the
Yeah.
Doubtfire Face Suicide Depression Challenge.
Right. So based on last year, I created the video to do the Doubtfire Face Challenge. My dad threw the pie on my face, and I think he'd love doing that. I think it was like his dream come true.
Yeah,
So I am going to nominate again from the video Adrian King from Friday the 13th, 1980, the original.
yeah,
Melanie Kinnaman from Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. Lar Park Lincoln from Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Jennifer Banco from Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Deborah Voorhees, who played Tina in Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. So I would love to see those five celebrities who I do keep in touch with frequently.
hmm,
I would love to see them take a pie in the face for this wonderful cause for the Doubtfire Challenge. And I've had the pleasure of interviewing about over 24 Friday the 13th stars alone, plus somebody from A Nightmare on Elm Street, Brooke Bundy.
yeah,
So it was great to interview over 24 horror alumni, and I'm still reaching out to people. I just interviewed Bonnie Hillman, who played the hitchhiker in Part 4, and
hmm,
I reached out to Heidi Kozak, who plays Sandra in Part 7, and she said that she would be willing to do an interview. And I also reached out to Anna Alicia from Halloween 2, and there's a bunch of people from A Nightmare on Elm Street that I still haven't reached out to yet that I'm willing to do. Brooke Bundy, I have her phone number, and she told me that, and I have her email as well, and she texted me when she was going to a Chicago Comic-Con, and she said they're doing a Friday the 13th Part 5, I believe it was. No, Part 4 reunion. And she asked me if I would send her a little flyer that she can hand out to the actors and actresses of A Nightmare on Elm Street. And I gave it to her, and she handed it out to people. And the best part is now I didn't hear back from him. I did hear from him, but I emailed back and didn't hear a response because I know he's incredibly busy, and that is a given. But Robert Englund, who played Freddy Krueger, said he would be open to an interview, but I have to be patient, and I might have to keep reaching out to him because he is that busy, and really that busy because he's Freddy Krueger. I mean, he does all these conventions and everything, and a lot of all this stuff. So he did email me and said that he would be willing to do an interview. He heard from Brooke Bundy, and she said that she had a blast being interviewed by me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, awesome. So I wrote back to him, and I didn't hear back from him, but I can only understand why, and I do plan on writing back to him again. Yeah,
But
exactly, and that's why I do the interviews. I don't expect any compensation. I don't care if I'm where I'm at now or
mm-hmm.
if I'm an A-list, writer like Stephen King. Like, I'm not going to ask for compensation to do interviews because it's promoting my stuff for free. I mean,
Yep.
ever since my interview with you last year, my book sales have skyrocketed.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
I'm selling. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
selling more Halloween and Friday the 13th trivia books. Now, I didn't promote the Halloween trivia book at the time, and to be honest with you, I'm selling more of the Friday the 13th ones, which I'm assuming is with your interview because I haven't done any interviews since yours. And I mean, I've had more book sales like this for the months from October to November, not including the book signing I had at the King of Prussia Mall. I sold roughly, I would say, over maybe 200 copies, I would say, within 3 months
Oh, wow. That's
online alone. And I mean, that's not including what I sell in person. Like, some people will private message me or email me and want an autographed copy, and I'll do that, and they'll pay me either PayPal or mail me a check or money order, and I'll end up, when I get it, I'll end up, autographing it and sending it to them, which is great. I don't mind doing that neither. But I mean, online sales is pretty good for online sales, selling that many copies.
have you heard at all from any of the people that you had through the Doubtfire Challenge at?
I did hear from Adrian King. No, actually, Adrian King was one of them I didn't hear from. Sorry, Melanie Kinnaman I did hear from, and she seemed like receptive. Like, she seemed like she would want to do it, but like we all know, they're all busy, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it takes a couple minutes to do, but I mean, if it's a couple minutes in your day and you're really busy, it's kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
It's hard to make time for that. And Jennifer Bonko and Laura Park Lincoln I did hear from, and they told. Now, this is all around last year now, when they decided that they want to like, when I initially nominated them and private messaged them. And Laura Park Lincoln and Jennifer Bonko, after discussing to both of them, they both agreed that whenever they're together in L.A., because Jennifer Bonko moved from Hawaii back to Los Angeles to go back into acting, and they both said that whenever they're both in the same area, they would, hit each other up, and they would do it together, because it would be pretty cool having, little Tina and big Tina from Friday the 13th to do the challenge together. I mean, young little, Tina Shepard, who killed her father, compared to adult Tina Shepard as being manipulated and used and abused with her powers by Dr. Drew. So that would be pretty cool. And I would pay to see that, to be honest with you, to see little and, young and old Tina do the whole Doubtfire challenge. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, Nancy McLaughlin did the Doubtfire Challenge, and she was the one that said, yeah, send it out to Laura Park Lincoln. And Laura Park Lincoln was very receptive, but she told me she was very busy, but she told me about every 2 or 3 months to email her about it, which I actually haven't been doing, but I'm going to have to get on that. But I don't like to hassle people, but Laura Park Lincoln said she was definitely open to it. And I actually heard from Adrian King just before Christmas, and she had actually forgotten about it, and she asked about the challenge, and I mentioned it to her, and she thanked me for keeping her up to speed. And she said to me, if a pie in the face will help this cause, she said she might have to get to baking. So
That's
and
great.
Adrian King, I think, would be a big catch for it, because she was the heroine of the original. So
Yep.
yeah.
I definitely agree with that. And I emailed her, and she said, I'm very busy, Scotty, so I'm not able to do an interview with you right now. However, message me in a couple months, and I will check my schedule. She said maybe in early 2018 to message me, which I'm going to email her either today or tomorrow. And she said, message me and let me know, and I'll let you know my schedule. Because she said usually in January, February, she doesn't do as many conventions because there's not many conventions going on early in the years.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they take place in the spring, which would be around March, April, and then there's a couple in the summer, and there's a couple in the fall because of Halloween and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But there's usually none in the winter time between December. Maybe the last one's usually in November, so usually December, January, and February. There's not many conventions, if any at all.
Yeah.
So she said to email her in those months, and she would be able to set something up, because my interviews really aren't long. They're within 10 minutes long at most. My longest interview was with Nancy McLaughlin. It was Deborah Voorhees, and me and her were like an hour and a half. But I was actually driving home from work the one time, and I got a call from Nancy McLaughlin right when I pulled in the driveway, because I was driving from my apartment Oh, from work, because I wasn't going back to my apartment. It was a Friday. It was a weekend, so I was going back to my parents' place, and it was a 2-hour drive. So I drove 2 hours after working a 9-hour workday, and I just pulled in, and Nancy McLaughlin called me, and she just wanted to see how I was doing and everything. That's how sweet she is. She just calls you to check how you're doing. And I ended up talking to her a little bit, and I said, and she said, well, I'm sorry, because she blew me off for the last interview. Like, we had one set up, and I couldn't get a hold of her. And then she called me, and she said, how about we do an interview right now? And I'm like, well, I just got home. I just had worked 9 hours and a 2-hour day. I go, I never did an impromptu interview before. She's like, well, there's always a first for everything. How about we do it? I said, I'll have to see if I have my questions. I know I have the sheet that I printed out at my apartment. That's 2 hours away. Let me see if I have it on my computer. And luckily, I had it saved on my laptop. So we did an impromptu interview, which took a lot of editing because it was like all different things. Like my laptop was dead, and then I charged it, and then my other laptop started dying, and I had to charge that. Like we had to take a lot of breaks, and this, that, and the other. Everything that could go wrong went wrong in terms of things like that happening. But a little editing fixes everything basically. So we had the impromptu interview, and that was my longest interview. I had like 20 questions with her, and the interview was literally like 2.5 hours long. It was great.
Yeah, Nancy I've had on twice, and Nancy is very easy to work with, and she got that web series right now. Jack Marshall Can't Do This. I don't know if you've been watching that, but
I watched a couple episodes. I've been very busy lately, so I haven't had time to really do all that much other than work and all that. So, I mean, I do know that she had that, and she did promote that in my interview, so I definitely have that in my book. But I will say, if anybody, I watched a couple episodes and it was really good. So I recommend anybody that's a fan of Nancy McLaughlin's alone to watch that web series because it really is great, and she does a wonderful job. She's an amazing actress, an amazing person. So I highly recommend watching Jack Marshall Can't Do This.
Yeah, I've seen every episode, and I just got caught up in it. And I think everybody in that cast is interested to do my show. At least that's what she says. So I'm like,
awesome.
Sure, why not? But and one last thing about the Doubtfire. Did you hear back from Deborah Voorhees about it?
I actually didn't get a chance to message her yet.
Okay.
Remember we were talking about that, and we decided that we would let her listen to the interview and like tag her in it. And if she doesn't be responsive, then I would message her and let her know, because that way it's like I'm renominating somebody.
Well, I don't know when this will get out yet, so
That's true.
But I've had her on here a couple times as well, and I think I'll reach out to her for a third time later on in the year, because I know she's got a new film, The List, coming out, and she's another one that's just easy to talk to and good sense of humor. I've had a very good response dealing with people from the Friday films, so.
Me too.
Yeah.
So a couple of them were iffy to get a hold of, and some of them I interviewed that you haven't done yet, and some of them you interviewed I haven't done yet, and we help each other out. I end up giving you some contacts, and you end up giving me some. I just gave you yesterday Bonnie Hillman to get in touch with her, and you gave me Tracy Savage, so I'm going to be reaching out to Tracy Savage, and you also got me some from A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I helped you get Anna Alicia from Halloween 2 from 1981. So it's that's how it is in this industry. Like we help, if you help somebody out, you help each other. Like, you know what I mean? That's what makes the world a better place. Being helpful, being friendly, being kind. I mean, just helping each other out in different aspects of everyday life. It works out. And I mean, I love, interviewing all the cast that I've interviewed, and it's great. Like, I can't even imagine being that busy and to take that time out of the schedule just to do a quick interview like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had Tracy Savage on right on Boxing Day last year, and I was so happy to get her, and I had to thank Mike Guttridge for that, because I had Mike on who directed her in a movie, and he connected me with Tracy, and I had the biggest crush on Tracy after seeing that movie, and I was happy to get her on my show finally, but you got a new book coming out on the Halloween franchise. Now, I got to say, the original Halloween, celebrating its 40th anniversary this year, and I'm hoping to get some interviews from that. But I got to say, that is one of my all-time, not just one of my all-time favorite horror films, but one of my all-time favorite films, period. I love the original Halloween.
I agree. Halloween is one of my favorite franchises. I love Friday the 13th. That's what got me into horror films. But I fell in love with Halloween the moment I first saw the opening scene of little Mikey Myers killing his young sister Judith. Like, it was just an amazing opening sequence. And there's not a lot of blood, but you don't need blood to make a good horror film. The fact that he was stalking the teenagers, the fact that he was, lurking in the shadows and in the woods and in the bushes, and just the psychological aspect, the psychological thriller of Michael Myers just slowly stalking his prey before dispatching them. And it wasn't even a high body count. It was just a simple, he stalks his prey, gives that psychological edge of your seat suspense, to it. And it just, that's what made the film so scary and horrifying, because it's something that happens in everyday life.
Mm-hmm. Well, like with the Friday the 13th, like Friday the 13th movies, I always I forget the body count. I always liked a lot of the females in there, because there's a lot of pretty females, and I always have a favorite in every one of them. And for me, Halloween, I love PJ Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
great.
totally.
And I want to interview her too. I know she's very busy, but she's maxed out on Facebook, so I can't even add her on there, which really sucks.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Totally, yep.
Yeah. I haven't gotten a lot of Halloween interviews, I am going to try hard for the original this year. I did get Dick Warlock, who played, of course, Michael Myers in Halloween 2.
Mm-hmm.
I got him, and I was very lucky that was a Skype interview, and that worked out well. I did hear back from Pamela Susan Shoop, who was that gorgeous nurse that got drowned in the hot steaming water.
Right.
I actually sent her a message, because I couldn't email her or something. Something went wrong, so there was a place where I could order a picture. So I sent her a money order, and I sent a card, and I pitched my interview idea to her. And she responded and gave me a handwritten letter, and she said that she's very, very busy right now and not able to do an interview, but she sent me a beautiful autographed picture, though.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, yep, she was very nice about it. Just can't do it right now, but I'm fine. I like the fact that she was very polite about it, and like I said, she sent a beautiful picture, and she was.
Yep, and that's what I like about the celebrities that do that. I mean, even if you can't do it, doesn't mean that it's going to turn us off from being your fans. Like, you can be polite about it and do something like she did to you, and it all is forgiven at that point, because she was extremely kind about it. She wasn't rude. She didn't unfriend you. She didn't block you. She didn't, wasn't rude about it. Like, she was really nice about it, and that's what what the celebrities really should do if they're not able to do it, because we understand you have a busy schedule. Just let us know in a polite way, and all is forgiven at that point.
Oh, yeah. So, have you done many interviews from the Halloween franchise?
Actually, I haven't done any. But what I will say is I did speak to Jamie Lee Curtis, and she wrote the foreword to my Ultimate Halloween trivia book. And she also said she would be willing to do an interview, but she's really busy at this point. It took her about a month or so to get back to me regarding the foreword. And I was so grateful that she did. And I mean, it's a beautiful foreword. I'm not going to really go into much detail about it, because if you want to read what she wrote, and she talks about her time on set, you can buy the book. Mm-hmm. However, if I have time, I would be able to read some of what she wrote.
Yeah, and you also got a foreword by Heather Langenkamp for your upcoming Elm Street one, too, huh?
Yep, exactly. I wrote the Ultimate Nightmare on Elm Street trivia book, and I found my a talent agent from out in Hollywood. He ended up giving me gave me Heather's contact information. Mm-hmm. And I could have found it myself. Like, it's literally her website. It's right on her website. I didn't even think about it. I just asked my agent, because it's easier, more convenient, and that's what I pay him for. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, he ended up giving me her contact information. I emailed her over New Year's Eve, and I heard back from her a couple days after. and she said that she read the email a couple days prior, but she was busy with family because of the holidays and that. And she said I reached out to her at the perfect time because she's not as busy during the holidays in terms of bookings and conventions and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So she was more than willing to do an interview. She was more than willing to do the forward for me. So she attached the forward to that email. She didn't want to send me an email back until the forward is completed.
Yeah.
And I think it came out pretty nice. She actually talked about Johnny Depp and working with him, and talked about Wes Craven and her time filming and all that. And it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've had a few Elm Street people on there. I've had Ira Hayden on from Dream Warriors. I had Lisa Wilcox. I've had her on here. And Amanda Wyss was on here. Amanda, I find, usually is open if she happens to be promoting something new at the time.
Right.
Otherwise... which I get, they want to promote something that they're doing, I like Amanda, but no, but you got your new book, the Halloween trivia book. Now, after doing the Friday the 13th one, did you find the process to doing this book easier?
I did, actually, and I did do some things differently than I did in the Friday the 13th trivia book. Like, for example, in the Friday the 13th trivia book, I never thought of having somebody write a foreword to my book, especially somebody from the cast. Okay. So in the Friday the 13th one, I don't have a foreword, but in the Halloween one, I had Jamie Lee Curtis, who was a big name, who got her start in Halloween. So that was pretty cool. Another thing I did differently that a lot of people give me not really heat for, but they disagree with, that I took out from the Friday the 13th one. They loved how I had a fill-in-the-blank section on Friday the 13th, and the answers to the fill-in-the-blank questions were in a word search. And in the Halloween trivia book, I don't have a word search, or I have a fill-in-the-blank section, but I don't have a word search. So that's something I didn't incorporate, and I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do this, but the new Halloween film is coming out in October of this year, and I do plan on adding that to a second edition of my Halloween trivia book. Everything will be the same questions, same forward, same everything, but an extra chapter added. And at that point, the bonus chapter, which I have in the Friday the 13th one with the word search in that, I plan on adding another section, which would be the word search. I might add that into the mashup, the Halloween mashup as well. So that's something I did different, is I took out the word search from Friday the 13th, and I didn't put it in the Halloween one. But I do plan on doing that for A Nightmare on Elm Street. I do plan on putting a word search in that one, and I'm not sure yet, but I'm debating if I want to put a crossword puzzle in there too as like a last chapter, a couple of crossword puzzles.
Yeah, I was just curious. What did you think of the Rob Zombie remakes of the first and second film?
I like them. I will watch them. It's not that I can't stomach them. It's not like the 2010 A Nightmare on Elm Street where if it's on, I literally got to change it because I can't stand the look of Freddy. Mm-hmm. But I will watch them. However, they are no original John Carpenter Halloween 1 and 2 from 1978 and 1981. Yeah. I could watch the Rob Zombie ones. I love them. I mean, I do like them. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're not as the original, and I will definitely take the originals over them. I mean, I take the originals over any reboots or remakes at this point. But it's not like where, the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street, I can't stomach it and watch it, which is going to be more challenging for me in the Nightmare on Elm Street trivia book, because I think I've seen the movie like one time and all the others a bunch of times. And like all these other films, like even the reboots of Friday the 13th and Halloween, like I've seen them a bunch of times that I can do a trivia book about it. But it's going to be a tough one for me to do on the 2010 version of Nightmare on Elm Street, because I've seen it like one time and I can't watch it because of the way Freddy looks. So, but with the Halloween 2007, 2009, I can watch them, I can stomach them, I enjoy them, but they're definitely not like the originals, and the originals hold a special place in my heart.
I'll say one thing. I like the fact that Rob Zombie dove into and explored Michael Myers' past and growing up.
Yeah.
But he did one thing. Like, I like this in Devil's Rejects, but I find it gets to the point where every character in his movies is like a really foul-mouthed redneck,
Yeah.
And it's really went into overkill. I did not like that in the first movie, and I thought... who's the actress who played Laurie Strode?
Scout Taylor Compton.
Yeah, nothing against her, but she was cardboard. She had none of the depth or emotion of Jamie Lee Curtis.
I agree. and that's one thing I didn't like about it, because I know Jamie Lee Curtis in 1978's Halloween, she was shy. She didn't really like to talk to guys. She didn't curse. She was like a virgin. Like, she was this typical final girl that was able to survive the wrath of Michael Myers because of her purity and her, and basically she was the only one that wasn't as quote unquote distracted. But in 2007 and even 2009, the Laurie Strode, played by Scout Taylor Compton, she's an amazing actress, don't get me wrong, but the character itself, which could be not because of her acting, but it is because of the way it was written. But it was the fact that Laurie Strode she had a foul mouth. She wasn't, I don't think she was naked, if I'm not mistaken, but she would do all these like, humping motions and all these different type of, vulgar sexualities type of stuff, with her mom and with her, the Strodes right there, that adopted her right then and there. And it was just, she wasn't shy. She wasn't like Jamie Lee Curtis' Laurie Strode. Like it was like the Laurie Strode from 1978 evolved into a different Laurie Strode of 2007.
Yeah.
Basically to keep up with the times.
Yeah. Now, the reboot of Halloween 2, one thing I noticed that Rob Zombie did is he, of course, the original Halloween 2, it takes place mostly in dark hospital corridors. Well, in the Rob Zombie Halloween 2, he deals with that like in the first 10 or 15 minutes. And then goes off elsewhere. Now, here's one thing I didn't like in the Rob Zombie Halloween 2. I like the fact, if you're going to do reboot, I thought he did great at casting Malcolm McDowell to play Sam Loomis, who was played so great by Donald Pleasance in the original Halloween and so forth. I like Malcolm McDowell. And I even loved that Clockwork Orange quote, let me make things nice and sparkling clear. I caught that in Halloween 2 reboot. But I didn't like the fact that, like with Donald Pleasance playing the character, he was genuinely concerned with keeping people safe, whereas Rob Zombie took the character and had Malcolm McDowell play him as some kind of celebrity-obsessed talk show host, guy trying to promote a book on Michael Myers, and it really kind of took the sympathy away. Do you agree?
I agree. I definitely agree with that. And, he did a good job playing the part, don't get me wrong, but, his job as an actor, and as an actor, he has to work with what he's given, and I blame all that on the writing. And the writing itself made Donald Pleasance's original character not a sympathetic guy who cared about Michael Myers and wanted to stop him from hurting others. He was more of wanting to live off the fame and the fortune of what Michael did prior and his childhood, and he wanted to take it to a whole new level of extreme. And when he came across Michael Myers, it wasn't that he was sympathetic and concerned about Michael Myers. It was more like he wanted to kill him. He just wanted to end him completely. I didn't feel the lack of sincerity that he wanted to help him at all. He just wanted him dead, and that's it.
Yeah. Now, of course, we talked briefly about the new Halloween movie coming out. Did you hear the comments from Danielle Harris, who played Jamie Lloyd in the fourth and fifth installment of the franchise? I heard that this new movie is supposed to take place after the original Halloween 2. And Carpenter, I guess, is going to kind of wipe away what came after. And I guess Danielle Harris is not liking that idea. Did you catch on all that?
Yes, and actually there was more information that was leaked about it because the script has officially been written, and they're in pre-production now and beginning to start production and filming. And it actually has been completely changed. The original script of it starting after Halloween 2 is no longer in session. Now they're doing it. No, it's not going to be. It's going to be a sequel after the original Halloween. Now everything after 1978 is now not going to happen. So that was kind of a shocker, and a lot of fans aren't liking that because they believe Halloween and Halloween 2, they kind of coincide with each other because it takes place one after the other. Why can't this take place after Halloween 2, 1981, like it was originally supposed to be, but years later? But now they're ignoring everything after Halloween because John Carpenter said the biggest mistake he made filming Halloween 2 was making Michael Myers the brother of Laurie Strode.
Okay. Oh,
So
okay. I get what he's
I don't
doing.
know where they're gonna go with that and what they're planning on doing, because they're obviously keeping the script hush hush and top secret. Although I do know Jamie Lee Curtis is returning, and I forget the name of the actress, but they have somebody returning as her daughter, which is another reason why Danielle Harris is pissed, because she feels, why is somebody my age playing her daughter when they already have Laurie Strode having a daughter? You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
if they want to ignore anything, ignore it after Halloween 5, because in Halloween 6, Jamie Lloyd dies. Bring back Danielle Harris and take it place after Halloween 5.
I wouldn't mind Danielle Harris coming back as her daughter. I mean, had nothing against her.
I agree. I thought she was a brilliant actress, and as a child actress, I mean, she was phenomenal. I think she is originally a scream queen. She takes place after Jamie Lee Curtis. I believe they're two scream queens. They're true, original, iconic scream queens. And Danielle Harris also played in Rob Zombie's 2007 and 2009 Halloweens as Annie Brackett.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
little weird.
It was like it didn't feel like herself. But I mean, she don't forget when she was in the original, like in Halloween 4 and 5, and she was a child, so she's now grown up, and she probably wanted to separate herself from her childhood. Maybe, I don't know, but I do know that she feels offended because, especially because they cast somebody to play Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter, and Danielle Harris wanted to do it, and they did consider Danielle Harris getting that role. But they, I guess, didn't want to give her the money that she was requesting, and they turned her down. And they didn't. They just cut off communications. They didn't even want to negotiate or anything.
Well, one thing I respect about Danielle Harris is I know in the past she had a stalker scare, and I love the
Yep.
fact that she's willing to do the conventions and willing to still talk to the fans, and she seems to have a good attitude about doing the convention
Yep.
appearances.
Yep, I agree. I heard some people said that she was a complete and utter bitch. I also heard a majority of posts, and I never met her personally, but I heard a majority of things that she was an amazing person. So I'm thinking the ones that had a bad experience with her, either she was having a rough day, or they just didn't like her in general and just wanted to bash her, or jealous or whatever. I heard a couple of bad things in forums and groups on Facebook, but I heard a bunch of amazing things. I heard she's an amazing actress. She's an amazing woman. She's very polite. My one friend actually met her, and he said that she was the nicest person he's ever met from a horror film. And he literally talked to her for about 20 minutes, and then he actually proposed to his girlfriend right in front of her, and she gave them both a hug.
Well, I just went to my first convention last November. I went to Horrorama, and that was the first time I ever did anything like that, and that was pretty amazing. So I'm hoping to get to more
Right.
of these, but I did getting back to the new Halloween. They got, of course, John Carpenter back doing the score, and was he producer or executive producer?
I think he's just the producer, and he's going to do the music composition. However, he did say that anything in the script has to be finalized by him, even though he's not the executive producer. He said the only way he's going to give his permission for this film to be made is if he has the final say on it, because he does not want this film to be ruined like it was in later sequels when he wasn't in control.
Well, you know what? I heard that he had a major problem with Rob Zombie's film, and it had nothing to do
Yeah.
with so much with his films, but about things that Rob Zombie had said.
Yeah, I heard that too, and that's probably another reason why John Carpenter wants to have full creative control with the new one, because he wants to make sure that this film it is back to its roots.
Yeah.
Because he said that they also said that Michael Myers in the new film is not going to be an indestructible monster. He's going to be a normal human being like he was in the original,
Hmm.
and this time they're going to kill him off once and for all.
Yeah, well, they've been saying that about Jason for years.
And they said that about Michael Myers after Halloween 2, because then they came out with Halloween 3 Season of the Witch,
Yep.
and there was no Michael Myers, and they felt that was a mistake. It didn't make as much money. It got a lot of backlash and heat, and that's when we came out with Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So they wanted to kill off Michael Myers in Halloween 2 as well. that never happened. I mean, look, we have Halloween 4, we have Halloween 5, Halloween 6, 7, 8, and then the 2 reboots. So where does it end?
Yeah, yeah, it's just like after Friday the 13th, the final chapter, it made
Yep.
so much money. They came up with a new beginning, and they had the fake Jason, and I guess there was a backlash despite having so many nice people in it, because I've done six interviews from that film. Nice people in it, but I can kind of understand where the backlash came from. But
I agree.
But
I do too. I mean, it's not like they didn't have Jason in it. It was just an imposter Jason, and we didn't know that until the end of the film. And when you found out that was the case, it's like, really? They went that route, and then they resurrected him in 6, thanks to the magnificent and brilliant filmmaking and writing of Tommy McLaughlin, which Halloween 6 is an amazing, amazing film. I mean, Friday the 13th 6 is an amazing film.
Yeah, I've done a lot of interviews from that, too. I'll say one thing. I'll take A New Beginning over Jason X.
I will, too. I actually like A New Beginning, to be honest with you. I actually enjoy it. Do I wish that they really had Jason? Of course, who doesn't? But I mean, I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was brilliant. It had brilliant acting and brilliant stars and actors, and I thought it had amazing death scenes, and I think it was still a great film.
Oh,
I interviewed actually quite a few people from that film, too. I interviewed Tiffany Helm, who played Violet. I interviewed Deborah Voorhees, who played Tina. I interviewed Bob DeSimone, who played Billy. I interviewed Miguel A. Nunez Jr., who played Demon, the brother of Shavara Ross's character, Reggie the Reckless. I interviewed Ron Sloan, who played Junior.
Yeah.
I'm not, and that might have been all I interviewed.
Did you get Corey Parker? I got Corey Parker.
Oh yes, I got Corey Parker too. I interviewed him. Yep, I interviewed him. I think you gave me his email actually.
Yeah. My favorite thing about A New Beginning is Melanie Kinnaman. She's gorgeous.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Very amazing and very beautiful.
Like, forget about the killing, I like the pretty things in the movie. Yeah.
Very true.
And I like the fact Melanie is not at all full of herself,
Right.
I can lavish her with these comments, and she appreciates it, and yeah.
Yes.
But I've done 6 interviews from that film, and everybody's been really nice, and yeah.
Yeah.
I know Ron Sloan is hoping to put me in touch with Carol Locatel, who played Ethel. So.
Yep. Yeah, he's doing the same for me actually. He sent her my I gave him my email, and he gave it to her, and he said that it will take her a little bit to get back to me, because she's really slow on getting back to emails. But he gave her my email, and he said she will message me when she can. He said if I don't hear back in a couple months, just ask him, and he'll get in touch with her and see what's going on. But he said that she should get back to me when she can.
Actually told me that she kind of runs by her own clock, so. So
just like her character.
Yeah, but I've had a good time with the people from that film, and they're able to laugh at it and have fun with the fans. So all
Agreed.
good stuff. I'm still in touch pretty much with a lot of the ones from that film. I interviewed Melanie, Tiffany, and Debbie, and Ron, and Bob. They're all really cool people. But
I agree, and I remember last year when we had an interview about the Friday the 13th trivia book. Remember how I told you the story about Todd Farmer, where his son has autism, and he was getting a lot of hate by that, and that's why he deactivated his Facebook. Well, I was on Facebook the other day, and I saw a message from him, not a message, a status from him, and it looks like he reactivated his Facebook now.
Perfect.
So I'm going to also reach out to him to see if he would like to do an interview.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. I didn't get anybody from Jason X yet, so I might reach out to him eventually as well. I think it's unfortunately you get people like that do that. I mean, Deborah Voorhees just posted on her fan site, that look, be civil on here, because I mean, I guess Tiffany Helms dealt with some slack on there, and Melanie Kinnaman went off of there, and that's got to be frustrating. And I wish some of these people would just screw off and quit tormenting,
Exactly. I mean, I don't post political or religious stuff really on my Facebook, because I know I would get a lot of backlash, because a lot of people they are the type of people that will, there's people out there that just hate and they believe their beliefs are right, and I respect their beliefs, and I don't mind a good debate, but it gets to the point that then I have my friends attacking my other friends, and they don't know each other, and then there's a whole heat up and mash
Yeah.
up on on my face. I just don't want to deal with that. I mean, my page is I'll post what I want, but I don't like when I have people arguing over me, petty stuff like that. That's why I don't post it anymore, because people just get into all these heated arguments and confrontations, and I don't want to get involved in that, because my page is to promote me and my books and my authorship and my films my films and my production and all that stuff. So I don't want to get into the point where I have people arguing on my page, and then it could be driving fans of mine away and unfriending me because they don't want to see the drama.
Yeah, I hear you there, and it's kind of like me. I just post stuff to do with my show and whatnot, and I try to
Yeah.
promote people I've interviewed and done my show. I try to promote them as best I can. So
Yeah.
that's how I kind of go with that. But and
Yeah.
stay out of the religion and political stuff. I know what my beliefs are. Christian,
Yep.
but I also realize there's people out there in the. I think I've told you I hate Movie Guide. I think they're a biggest bunch of assholes,
Yep.
forcing up censorship. And
Yep.
oh yeah, like they think everybody's supposed to be a family of four. What's wrong with being single? Or what's wrong with a woman
Exactly.
having a career? Like
Exactly.
I think I've told you about them. I think they're pathetic.
Yeah, I think we talked about them actually last year during the interview, and when we were discussing the Doubtfire challenge.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, I told you about that. Don't like them at
Yep.
all. And they blocked me, but that's okay. I'm hoping if I ever tore through here, they won't have a block button.
Yeah,
Yep.
that is true.
They could be, it's easy for them to be cowards online. They won't be able to be cowards on face to face when somebody actually has the truth and says, "Hey, debate this." There's no block button. Now
Yeah.
you have to answer. But
Yep, exactly.
but anyway, getting away from those scumbags. I mean, I hate to say that about anybody, but people like that are pushing an agenda. Like if they don't like something on TV, turn it off. But
Yes.
yeah, I
Exactly.
hate being censored because somebody's kids can't watch something. You know,
Yep.
it's almost like they're saying that everybody's supposed to have kids. Oh, I don't want kids. So,
Right.
no,
Same here.
yeah, but nonetheless, we're going to get off from that and talk about your Halloween book. I know mentioned you was on tour last year. Tell me about that experience of doing your book signing.
Oh my God, it was amazing. So my agent set me up. He was in negotiation with my publisher, she's an amazing lady. Her name is Tanya, and they were in talks and discussed about a book signing for me, because they figure that Halloween is coming up and we should do something special for both my trivia books, because Friday the 13th and Halloween trivia books are something that are big in the Halloween, like around Halloween time. So they said, so they end up reaching out to me. I believe it was in the middle of August of 2017, and they told me that we are going to set you up with a book signing, and we are going to reach out to Coca-Cola for a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, really? That's huge. You think they're going to sponsor me? I'm really a nobody at this point. I sold quite a bit of copies in that, but I mean, I'm really a nobody at this point. Why would Coca-Cola sponsor me? They said they won't. I'm like, then how are you going to get them to get on board? They said, we have an idea. And I didn't hear back until maybe the beginning of October, maybe near the end of October, like not beginning or middle of October. And they told I knew Coca-Cola signed on. I didn't know how they convinced them. They never really told me, but they told me that we sold 300 tickets, were sold out. I'm like, awesome. My family wanted to come. I have some people, from my family want to come see me at my book signing. Is there any way I can get them? Like, no, we're sold out of tickets. Like, there's not going to be enough time. I'm like, well, that's kind of sucks, because like my family wanted to come and see me. They wanted to see me, in action as an author with all these fans, cheering for me and that. And it was too late, and I didn't know about this, but they set it all up, behind the scenes without me, because that's their job. I mean, they didn't keep me in touch, which was kind of their mistake. But I didn't know that they were actually, it was actually to the point that they're going to sell 300 tickets and the money that I sell, they were $20 a ticket. The money I sell would go to Coca-Cola themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So Coca-Cola would keep all that, and they would. And if I sold all 300 tickets at $20 a piece, and that would be their payment to represent me and promote the crap out of me and all that. So that was great. So I was kind of disappointed though because I couldn't get my family that wanted to come see me the tickets because they couldn't get in. Anyways, so the book signing was on Halloween in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I was living the dream. I was living large. It was amazing. I had a great time. The book signing was from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. I had to be there at 12 noon because I had to go. They got me like this trailer that these big A-list stars usually have. So I had this big trailer. I had people doing hair and makeup. I had a personal assistant. They prepped me. They cooked me this huge, great this food. I had shrimp kebabs, and it was funny because my personal assistant was a hungry Scotty because I couldn't get up because I'm getting my hair done and getting the makeup done. So he ended up going to shrimp kebabs. They were making on the grill because it was a really nice day on Halloween, and they ended up getting that, and he ended up bringing it to me on a plate, and he would actually feed me it. I was because I can't use my hands because my hands are all they're all out of, not able to reach it for anything because they're underneath the stuff that they have on me and everything. They don't want me to mess anything up. So it was like I was being pampered, but it was really great. It was a great feeling, like what the real stars get. I had a event coordinator that would coordinate everything, make sure we were on time and on schedule. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to take many pictures of the whole thing, so she took a lot of the pictures for me. So after I got done hair and makeup and eating and all that, I'd go to wardrobe. They would I was in that for like an hour or two. They would then try me on different clothes, see what clothes I would fit in and which I looked nice in for the book signing and for my photo shoot. After we would do the one for the book signing first, we came up with, that looks good. I think I should wear that for the book signing. So we did that, and then we tried more clothes on for the photo shoot. So after we settled on something for that, we would select like 4 or 5 different things, and I would then have a photo shoot, and I go into this little. They had it was like right down the road at this photography place, and they had these big cameras and these big lights, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in heaven right now. I feel like a big star. I have all these people, so I'm wearing these clothes, and I'm getting my picture taken, and I'm getting photo shoots done, and I'm doing all these different poses because those are the poses I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be autographing at my book signing because the book signing there was different things I would be selling. And then so after the photo shoot, we'd go back to hair and makeup because, of course, I'm going to be all sweaty from the lights and all that. And so they ended up doing hair and makeup again. And then after that, it was around 8 o'clock. I'd have my own personal security guards. They would escort me to the book signing. I had at around 2:30 p.m. alone, when I was on a little break. I ended up going up the hill, and I had a line full of people outside waiting at 2:30 p.m. and the book signing isn't for hours away. It was amazing.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up going to the book signing around 9, and the security guards are escorting me through the crowd of the fans, and they're all cheering for me and taking my picture while I'm walking through. And I mean, I never felt so alive. I felt so famous, so popular. It was great. And even after the book signing, the security guard, he had I thought he was going to tackle somebody because he came up to me. He didn't have a ticket to get in. He was waiting for me all night to see me. And I'm like, it's okay. I got a picture with him outside free of charge for him, and it was great. But so the book signing is from 9 to 10. There was 300 tickets sold. 203 people actually showed up, which is great. I mean, they didn't get refunds, obviously. They obviously lost their money, if they didn't show, that's on them. What melted my heart was this little girl was from Boston, and she was with her mom, and I guess she has family up here. It was at the King of Prussia Barnes & Noble, by the way. Mm-hmm. And she had, I guess, his family in the area, and I guess they were trick-or-treating, and she was dressed as a witch or whatever, and she was with her mom, and they both had tickets, and she had this bear, and it said, love from Boston on it, and on the little jacket it had on or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she said, this is a gift from me. And my heart melted. She must have been no older than 10 years old, and my heart literally melted. It was so sweet. I never expected it, and it was funny because I tell my parents this, and they start laughing because they're like, "This is typical Scotty." But she goes, "Can I get a selfie with you with the bear?" I'm like, yeah, "Absolutely." And I mean, obviously, my job is if you want a selfie with me, you're gonna have to pay because that's what I'm charging. So I was like, yeah, "Absolutely." So $10, please. But it was great. It was great. Like it melted my heart that she gave me that bear. I still have the bear. I don't know if she's listening to this. I'm sure she will because I'm going to promote the interview when it airs on my fan page, and I'm sure she's following in, or at least her mom might be, and hopefully she would listen to this. But I wanted to know if she is listening that I still have the bear. It is literally on my bookshelf right now, on the top of my bookshelf, looking right into my room. Like it's right there. I can see it all the time, and I smile every time I look at it. It was great. I was selling. I had a sale. I called it the Hollow event.
Hmm.
For Halloween. I was selling. You could buy each book at $13 a piece, which is the normal price, or you could buy both copies for $20, autographed, of course. I did that, and then I also was selling autograph photos of me that I had taken at the photo shoot for $5. I was selling photo ops, which is you get in a picture with me and you can have either our event staff take a picture or you can have a family member take the picture, and that was $7.
You
Or you can
mean
get a
like the
selfie with
ones
me.
where you're laying on the bed there with your boxers, and, like those ones? Those, I, I
Pretty
think,
much.
I think somebody there has took pictures of you might be making a buck off those.
Exactly. They're probably saying celebrity author Scotty McCoy in his underwear on his bed, a family photo taken, $5. They're already making a profit.
They're gonna sell those to Playgirl.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I don't know if they would want to do that though, because I think Playgirl would actually they might want to do that because Playgirl will actually sell out of them because having me on the cover. I mean, come on, how you can't get better than that?
you know, I was gonna say a 10-year-old girl was buying a trivia book on Friday the 13th.
They didn't buy the book. I guess I don't know if she already has the book. I don't know. They didn't buy a copy. She just wants to meet me. So I'm
Okay.
guessing she she knows of me through my books. I don't know if she actually has the book or not. I mean, I've been watching movies from her when I was her age, so I mean, I can see why she would. Maybe her mom bought the book, and her mom. I know her mom surprised her with the ticket, so like she didn't ask to come see me. But I know her mom said that she likes my writing. I think I don't know why, but I think that she is a fan of Jamie Lee Curtis, and she might have the Halloween trivia book. So I'm thinking she is a fan of Jamie Lee Curtis, so she saw the forward and she figured that I know Jamie Lee Curtis, so she wants to meet me. That's my own personal opinion. I don't know why, if that's the truth or not. But I know that she came to see me and she was with her mom and she gave me this little bear and it was the most adorable thing ever. Like my heart literally melted. I thought it was fabulous. I thought it was sweet. Like I never felt so. I mean, nobody else gave me anything. They all bought stuff and they gave me their money, of course. But I never had somebody give me a gift like that at a book signing, and it was great. It really
I
was.
find I just I find it funny how the times change because I remember I was a teenager when I saw, I think it was Friday the 13th part 2, and I got baited into that by my older brother and cousins, and it scared the living shit out of me. And it was the first time I
Yeah.
seen a naked woman and all that stuff I wasn't supposed to be seeing at that age. But
Mhm.
I don't know. People now are so. It's like they're so
Yep.
desensitized to that stuff now. It's like it's
Exactly.
weird because it was a lot different
Yep.
for me growing up. You know.
Yep. When I first saw Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, I was like 6 or 7 years old. That was my first film I saw, and we had like a DVD rental place or a VHS at the time rental place, in Ashland in town, and they ended up like my parents would have to obviously pick it up for me and that because I wasn't obviously old enough. And that was the first film I saw, and it got me into all the other films. It was funny because I told the story to Laura Park Lincoln, who played Tina in Part 7, and she yelled at me for it. She's like, "You shouldn't be watching those movies that young." She's like, I'd never let my my kids watch it at that young." But it was funny. But yeah, but yeah, I mean, that was the first film I saw, and ever since I was terrified of Jason, like I was scared of him and everything. And I mean, it still didn't stop me from watching the other films. I loved the film, but it scared me of Jason, and I still watched them from part 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, and I watched 7 again, then 8, then 9, because I think the only film at the time was Jason Goes to Hell. Was the most recent film at the time because I was only 6 or 7, and Jason X didn't come out until 2002, which I was, I believe, in 2002, 13 years old when that came out. But then I watched that, and then I went into Halloween films, and I didn't just because I just wasn't scared of Jason. I was then scared of Michael Myers. And then I watched Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was scared of Freddy Krueger, and I got all these different fears that were coming out of me. Like it would be to the point that I couldn't even sleep alone. Like I would always have to stay in the bed with my mom or my dad when I was sleeping at night. When I showered, I kept looking outside my curtains to make sure they weren't going to kill me, because in part 4 of Friday the 13th, Jason kills somebody in the shower.
Yep.
So it was
Although
all
I
these
think
fears
Norman Bates started that.
Oh, that is true. That is true. But I didn't see Psycho at the time neither. But that is true. And Janet Leigh, she's the mother of Jamie Lee Curtis. That's the reason why Jamie Lee got put in Halloween, because of her relation to Janet Leigh.
I actually have a Janet Leigh autograph. I was lucky there.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
And it was even better because Jamie Lee Curtis then starred with Janet Leigh, her mother, in the Halloween H2O. And it was funny because the scene that Jamie Lee Curtis has in the original Halloween with Sheriff Brackett, where he goes, "It's Halloween. Everyone's entitled to one good scare." And then in Halloween H2O, she does the same thing with her mom, and her mom says what Sheriff Brackett said at the time: "It's Halloween. Everyone's entitled to one good scare." And it was pretty clever.
Well, going back to Laura Park Lincoln, I can't believe, like, since interviewing her in 2016, she was my last interview of 2016, and what a way to end that year. But I couldn't believe how funny she is. That's why I think she's perfect for the Doubtfire Challenge. But do you ever see the videos she posts when she's at conventions? You know, like
Yes, I do.
She's hysterical.
She is. They're really funny. I know the one video she posted of, I can't remember exactly what it was, but she was like screaming at something, like it was like Jason was after her or something. That's pretty funny.
Did you see the one where she says she loves Nutella?
Yes, I saw that. That was hilarious. Oh my gosh, she is a genius. Like she should actually do some like sketch shows or like a web series on like skits like that. Like she's great.
One of my favorites was the video. I got a good kick out of this. I actually shared it on my page. Did you see the picture she had at Christmas time where she said she got the tree down, but that's about as far as it went? It shows her laying on the foot of the ladder coming from the attic, and the tree thing was on top of her. That. And her son's like looking at her. It's like, yep, they're helping out all right.
That was great. Yes, I did see that. That is hilarious.
I hope she didn't fall and hurt herself or anything, but I have to admit the picture looked very funny.
I know, that was hilarious. I told my mom, I said that like we should put a selfie of me as the star on top of the Christmas tree. And like, why? I go, because I am the star.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go, right? That's
yep.
The big ego everybody talks about, though, about me.
There you go. Oh, well. Now, anything else on the Halloween trivia book? Like, you done it or you near done it?
It is published, actually.
Oh, it's published now. Okay.
It is published. Yes, it's been published, actually, as of June 2017.
Okay.
Yep, so that is available. You can buy it on Amazon.com, on the websites of Barnes & Noble and Walmart. Mm-hmm. It is also available in Barnes & Nobles across the United States of America. If you want to stop in a Barnes & Noble store, they should have it in stock there. It's also in select Walmarts throughout the country in major cities like Los Angeles, New York City, Houston, Atlanta, Chicago, and I believe and Philadelphia, and that they're in stock in those Walmarts throughout the country as well, like in the major cities. There might be other Walmarts that they're in. I mean, if you're not sure if it's in there, if you're in Walmart, you can just go and check or ask for it and see if it is. But it's definitely on their websites. Or you can buy it on Amazon, or you can also message my fan page. I will give that information at the end of the interview. And you can request an autograph copy, and you can pay me. You can either mail me a check or money order, or you can pay me via PayPal, and I will autograph the book. You can either get the Halloween or the Friday the 13th trivia book, at that matter, and even the next book that we're going to be talking about, Christ Defeats Cancer, which both my dad and myself both will autograph, and I'm willing to do that. Payment-wise, Friday the 13th and Halloween, they're both $13. And if you want, but if you wanted me to ship it to you, if you want an autograph, it's $13 plus shipping, which shipping in the United States and the 48 continental United States is $4. Um, Outside of the United States, like in Hawaii or in Alaska or throughout the world, you can buy it, but the shipping will vary dependent on your location. And if you're not sure of shipping, just message me, and I can contact my local post office and find out what the shipping price is for you from where you're located.
Sure. So,
Yeah.
okay. Well, you got your next book, of course, Christ Beats Cancer. Of course, your
Mm-hmm.
your
Yeah.
father survived that, and
Yeah.
we're very happy about that. Now, this is a very different book for you, but very personal. Talk about this.
Okay. So Christ Defeats Cancer is a true story. It is a biographical novel I wrote in my point of view from my dad. What happened was is in September 2016, my dad was diagnosed with a rare aggressive form of brain cancer called glioblastoma. If you're not familiar with glioblastoma, like I said, rare and aggressive form of brain cancer, and it is the type of cancer that likes to grow back, meaning there's no cure for it, and it will grow back. The life expectancy of it, on average, is 1 to 2 years. And the reason why they say that is because there are people that are diagnosed with it that it is inoperable, so they can't have surgery. So their death is imminent at that point. It affects older people, so obviously they're not strong enough to survive a surgery. So obviously, if you get the surgery after diagnosis and you die during the surgery, obviously the life expectancy will be really low at that point. Babies get it, so if they get it, it obviously if it they can't survive the surgery either because they're so young. But then there's people like my dad who is young, is healthy, is strong, and is very faithful, and is with his love for Christ, and all those combined emanates survival. And my dad was diagnosed, and he had to get emergency brain surgery. And not to spoil the book or anything, but he of course survived the surgery. But then 2 days after brain surgery, he had a stroke. When he had the stroke, the doctor said he was not going to survive the stroke. They said the stroke was that severe and that imminent that he was probably not going to survive it. It was that severe. They did an MRI, and they saw the stroke and everything, and then they ended up moving him from SCU, special care units, down up to ICU for intensive care unit, because that's where a lot of people go in. They need 24-hour watch because they are in very, very critical condition. After he had the stroke, 2 days later, I'm not going to go into the specific details of how we found of the events leading up to what happened, because that is the miracle part of the book that you should purchase, and I will highly recommend you purchase. I've been getting a lot of good feedback on this book from people all around the world, and I highly recommend getting the book to see the true miracle that happened. But when they did an MRI 2 days after the original MRI, when the actual neurosurgeon came back, because it was a weekend and he wasn't in, and they were going to redo surgery dependent on what the next MRI showed, because they wanted to make sure that so to alleviate the swelling, because if they didn't alleviate the swelling, his brain would explode in his head and he would die. And they ended up doing the MRI, and that result came back, and the doctor came in. My dad was in a coma at this time, and they came into us and they said, I don't know what to say. And we're like, what are you talking about? Is he okay? They said, looking at the original MRI that was taken, it showed he had a stroke. And I'm looking at this next MRI, the one just taken now. We just got the results back, and there is no signs in his brain of a stroke. And he woke up from his coma, and the cancer cells lit up in the first MRI are not lit up in this next MRI, which means those cancer cells were obliterated by the stroke that he suffered.
Oh, wow.
So he ended up. They end up saying, the doctor said that it's a miracle. Science cannot explain how he survived this. And I explained what my uncle, who is a prophet of Christ, what he saw before the secondary MRI, but he saw something that foreshadowed and foretold from God what that MRI literally showed a day or two after. He actually told us of what he saw. So it was definitely a miracle and a sign. But the thing was, he did have a stroke, but it wasn't in his brain, meaning his brain wasn't swelling anymore, but he had the physical outside ailments of it, which required physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, as he was temporarily paralyzed on the left side. But the doctor told my dad and us that my dad is nothing less than a miracle and nothing more than a survivor.
So,
So that's what that book is about, and it's really great. I have a foreword written in it that is written from my dad's neurosurgeon that did the operation on him, and told us all this news. His name is Dr. Stephen Toms. He's done neuroscience and neurosurgery in the neurology department at Geisinger for over 20 years, and he's no longer affiliated with Geisinger. But he got a transfer to another hospital where he graduated from, where, at his alma mater, so to speak, and he ended up going there, and I reached out to him when he was working there, and he ended up agreeing to write the foreword, and he did. And he goes in depth about his career, about my dad and my dad's condition, and he also talks about what glioblastoma is a little bit. But it was very traumatic. Me and my mom barely slept. We slept in the hospital for about a month that my dad was there, and it was funny because my dad was admitted. I believe it was September 15th, and literally 1 month later, October 15th, my dad was released from Health South, which is a rehabilitation facility. So my dad was only in the hospital for exactly 1 month before he was released to come home.
Fantastic.
And the doctor said my dad would never walk. It would be hard for him to talk. He would never drive. He would never cook. My dad drove 2 hours to my apartment at one time. He's driving all the time. He's driving in the dark. His eyesight is back because the tumor dislocated his optical nerve in his brain. So they said it would take a year for that to come back. He can see now. He's walking. He's cooking. He's probably cooking the best meals he's ever made that I've ever tasted. I mean, he's doing an amazing job. He's over a year cancer free. He has his next MRI on January 22nd. I'm praying for good results again. I'm sure there will be. Also, my dad wears something called the Optune device by Novacure, which is a electromagnetic radiation type thing, where he will if the cancer cells in his brain divide, the electromagnetic waves will blast the cancer cells that are dividing, and it will kill them, which prolongs the regrowth of the tumor, which they said that if it ever were to regrow wearing the device, it could be over 15 years for all that matters. But if he doesn't wear it, it would regrow within 2 years. So it more than quadruples the actual regrowth rate of the tumor itself. And also, it's just an amazing story. It's a true story. On the cover of the book, I have a quote that my dad wrote on Facebook. It actually says, "Sitting here in my hospital room with Scotty and Lisa, waiting for brain surgery in the morning. The most obvious question is, why me? The most obvious answer is, why not? I always try to be a good person, and I hopefully touched many people in a good way." So it really is a good book. I would like to read an excerpt from the book that actually was the reason why the book was nominated. But it didn't win, but it was nominated the Independent Book of the Year Award.
Okay.
And it also did win the Amazon Book of the Year Award as the #1 bestseller.
Okay.
So I'm very proud of those accomplishments that this book has done in literally a short amount of time since publication in November. So do you mind if I read a little excerpt from it?
Go ahead.
All right. So this is after my dad was diagnosed with the tumor in the Shamokin Hospital when he was getting ready to be transferred to the main unit of Geisinger in Danville. I wrote, "Steve drove me to Geisinger, while my mom rode in the ambulance with my dad. After hearing the doctor stating my dad had a brain tumor, I screamed. I screamed so loud as I began to tremble with fear. My mom was silent, no words to say, no emotions to feel. She was just in complete and utter shock. Steve tried calming me down. He held me in his arms and reminded me they said it is operable, not inoperable, which means that he can still beat this. As he told me this, all I could think about was my dad's tumor and how I have been horribly treating my father lately. I knew it might be too late to make it up to him and begin treating him right again. I did apologize for the way I had been treating him lately. I gave him a kiss on the forehead and then drove with Steve to the main unit of Geisinger Medical Center in Danville, Pennsylvania. It's amazing how something bad like this makes you realize how short life is and that in a blink of an eye your entire vision of life changes. So tell everyone you love and that is close to you that you love them. Give them a hug and a kiss, because in a split second, your life can change and you can either lose them or be on the verge of saying your final goodbyes." My dad was being transported from the Shamokin Hospital to the main unit of Geisinger in Danville via an ambulance, while my mom rode in the back with him. While I was in the car with my Uncle Steve, I was crying. I was bawling my eyes out, barely audible as tears ran down my cheeks. My whole body was shaking. my hands were trembling in fear, and my heart palpitating to the beat of its own drum. I swear I thought I was going to have an anxiety attack. I was on the brink of hyperventilating. That's how badly my body was shaking. Steve led me in prayer. Even though I was unable to speak properly due to the outburst of sadness coming vocally from my mouth, the Lord knew that what I was trying to say and would use that to answer my first of many prayers in the forthcoming months. This is the point in time that I needed to put my dad's life and my trust and faith in the Lord. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. My faith is about to be tested like it never has been before. And that is an excerpt from the book, from chapter 2, The Month of.
Fantastic. Now, have you done a book tour with this yet?
Not yet. It was actually just published in the middle of November, so it's only been out for 2 months. But I do plan on having a smaller book tour first, and my agent is also working on a bigger book tour, and he also has contacts with the Ellen DeGeneres Show, Live with Kelly and Ryan, The View, Good Morning America, and he just recently got in touch with Megyn Kelly today. So he's trying to get me on them, but I know they are booked for months in advance, so he's trying to set something up to get me on their show as well. I do plan on having a smaller book signing that I'm going to organize myself locally, and I do also plan on having a bigger one in the future as well, probably maybe in the summer time, possibly.
You taking your dad on that?
Yes, I am. My dad, actually, with this book, I autograph it, but so does my dad. So my dad would like to go too, and my mom would go also. But me and my dad would be at the signing, and we would love to have. I would love to have people come. We're going to be promoting a lot of it on our own for the smaller one, and it'll be so great to see people who appreciate me, because I have people for trivia books alone, coming from all over the country. So I can only imagine what I would have for a true miraculous story like this. And I have people all over my Facebook, and I mean all over that I don't even know, that prayed for my dad. My dad. It was funny because my dad got a card when he was in the hospital, and we were reading it to him. And he goes, "The Netherlands? Who do I know from the Netherlands?" I'm like, "Oh, that's one of my fans." But it was great. We've had people all over the world praying. I had people buy this book from Australia. They paid about $30 just for shipping alone.
Wow.
I had people buy it from England. I had people buy it from all over the country. It's amazing how many people support me and my family and support my writing and my career. It is amazing. It's great. I never expected it to be like this. All I wanted to do was write a trivia book just to say I had a book out for bragging rights and making a little extra pocket money, not expecting it to blossom into growing a fan base, into having over 2,000 fans on my Facebook page that like my page, and over 10,000 followers on Twitter, and almost 10,000 followers on Instagram. I did not expect that. I did not expect to have this type of fan base and this kind of following, and it's to the point that sometimes, doesn't happen all the time, but every now and again I go into town and I just go to the local grocery store, and I have girls and coming up to me and like, "Oh my God, you're Scotty McCoy, the author." And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're asking me to sign their shirts, and I'm like, it's a great feeling. I really enjoy it, but I never expected one trivia book to blossom into 3 books later, and all the future projects, and having an agent, and having interviews, and having all this, that, and the other. I did not expect this to happen so quickly in the matter of my first book being published February 2016, and then almost 2 years later, and I have a career on my hands. I have a fan base. I have a following. I'm having interviews with you and with radio shows and TV series and web series, and it's just, I have book signings. I'm touring. I toured, for my book signings. Just amazing, how this all came about and happened. I never expected it. I just expected simple pocket, extra pocket money. Just, if I wanted to buy Chinese, I can buy Chinese. If I wanted to buy a hoagie, I could buy a hoagie. I didn't expect it, to bring in, with my dad's book as much as it did. My publisher told me that that in 35 minutes I sold over 50 copies of the book in 35 minutes after initial publication.
Fantastic.
So that's amazing. It's oh, that's only 50 copies, but in 35 minutes after it was just published, that's unheard of. Who sells 50 copies in the matter of 35 minutes that quickly? And it's only been 2 months, and I already made over $1,000. and I already sold a lot of, like, it's hard to keep track of how many copies. Every time I sell a copy, I have to try to put it on my, I try to keep a sheet of it because I have to give a revenue report at the end of each year to my publisher for tax purposes. But I never expected for the book to be. I knew this book would do good. I didn't know it would do that good that quick.
Yeah. Now, what's next? Is it the Elm Street trivia book or the slasher film encyclopedia?
At first, it was the Ultimate Slasher Movie Encyclopedia because that I thought it would be great to have something so informative. But I'm only on chapter 1. There's 10 chapters, but there's so many sub chapters for each chapter, along with setting up interviews with the cast. And when I want to publish it, it's going to be like, I want to publish this book, but am I satisfied with the interviews I got, or do I want to try the people that declined me or the people that didn't get back to me again? It's like one of those things. So that book I have set for a release date of 2020, maybe 2021, but it might change, and it most likely will. But my publisher came to me and said, Scotty, your trivia books are doing exceptionally well. They are doing amazing. You sold so many copies since publication of them. We want you to continue the trend and do a Nightmare on Elm Street trivia book. That is your next project. I want you to work on it. I said, I said, absolutely. Do I have a due date? She said, no due date. Just get it done when you can. And when you get close, let us know, and we'll set a date for publication. So that is my next book that I'm working on, the Ultimate Nightmare on Elm Street trivia book. Heather Langenkamp wrote the foreword, which is amazing. She played the amazing Nancy Thompson in the original film and Part 3 Dream Warriors, and she also played herself in the Wes Craven's New Nightmare. It's going to be the same as both Friday the 13th and Halloween, except I'm going to include a word search, possibly a crossword, but don't quote me on that. It's going to have, I can't remember how many chapters off the top of my head there might be, but it's like, I think 10 chapters, 1,000 questions if I'm not mistaken. But don't quote me on that, but that's the next book I'm working on. There's no release date. I'm only on chapter 1 still. I'm almost on chapter 1. But that book is the next one I'm working on, and then after that is the Ultimate Slasher Movie Encyclopedia. And I also have some other works that I would like to work on, but I didn't start, and I don't even have a process of where I'm going with it yet. But some other books that I do have my eye on and that catch my interest.
Well, here's a question. You say the encyclopedia one's got 10 chapters. So
Yes.
what are the 10 chapters? I know some of them,
I can't remember them all off the top of my head. I can do my best. And I don't know them what they are in order. But the first 9 chapters are on franchises. So I have like Friday the 13th, Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hellraiser, Children of the Corn, Leprechaun. I don't know if it's a Child's Play, but Child's Play's in there. And then the 9th chapter is a miscellaneous chapter, which includes solo horror films, slasher films, which will include Freddy vs. Jason, maybe Valentine. I don't know. I have them all lined up of which ones I'm doing in the miscellaneous chapter, but I know I'm doing Freddy vs. Jason for sure. And then some other ones I'm debating about is like Prom Night, April Fool's Day, Black Christmas, stuff like that. And then eventually I might do a Volume 2, which will include kind of the same with other franchises of the first 9 chapters and another miscellaneous. But so and then each chapter will have sub-chapters, and they're all going to have pretty much the same sub-chapters. Some of them might differ because I might, like, for example, I'm interviewing people for, Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, but I might not interview anybody from Child's Play. So if that's the case, then the other, like Friday the 13th, that will have an interview a sub-chapter, but Child's Play will not. Some of the sub-chapters include a body count, a film description where I give my own description about what the film is about, like a synopsis type of thing. I have the cast and crew of the films, who starred in each of the movies. So stuff like that, broken down into branches, and it's going to be a very, very in-depth, informative book. It's 2018 now. I probably won't have it until 2020, 2021. Maybe even later than that, because it's so in-depth, so thorough, so much research, so much work has to go into it, on top of me writing a Nightmare on Elm Street trivia book, on top of helping my uncle who is writing a book, a joke book, a medical joke book, so I'm helping him edit that, on top of editing a bunch of different stuff going on. Like, it's just like so much going on, plus I'm teaching college now, which I'm teaching the web and software development curriculum. So I have so much going on in my life, and I'm taking on so many different projects. So it's at the point that I'm working at my own pace. My publisher is not rushing me. She doesn't give me a due date until I get close. It's just I have so many projects in the works, and I'm really excited for what 2018 holds because 2017 was very successful. I had a book signing. I had 2 books published. I had so much going on. I was nominated for the Independent Book of the Year Award. I won the Amazon Book of the Year Award for #1 bestseller. It's just like I have so much going on. It's really amazing. 2017 was great. 2018, I look forward and see what this year holds for me in terms of what gets published and what accomplishments I can hold, any book signings. I just can't wait to see what this year has in store for me in terms of my writing career.
Are you ever going to are you going to have pictures in that? Are you able to do? Are you able to do that?
For what?
Like the trivia book, like pictures of the cast or whatever. Are you able
like
to
the
do that?
encyclopedia book? I do have pictures that I'm using. Most of it are from me. I know that you're able to use the books if you take your own screenshots from the movies with approval, and I did message them, and they did give approval for as long as I take my own screenshots from the films themselves that I have. So I've been doing that. My graphic designer is creating logos for me. So like I'll have like Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th Part 2, 3, 4, the 5 chapters, stuff like that. For all the logos, my graphic designer is making them. So I've been doing. I'm able to legally use them, obviously, because he is making them for me. I'm not taking anything from Google. Everything is going to be everything I do take from Google will be approved by its original owner. If they require compensation, they won't be getting any, so I won't be using their pictures.
So you could just take your own screenshots from the movies.
If you get approval from the production company, and I spoke to my agent about it, and he said he requested permission, and they approved. So he has the writing. He emailed me in writing the approval from them of using it. If I took screenshots from the videos itself, as long as I have them referenced of where the pictures came from. And at the end of the book, I have a long reference page. It's probably gonna be like 10 pages of references of the movies that they came from and whatnot.
Okay.
Yep. I'm also including trivia. It's not going to be like my trivia books, where there's going to be like 10 chapters of trivia and like thousands of questions. It'll probably be a simple, maybe 20 question, section maybe or something like that. I'm also including a did you know? I'm taking all the information basically from IMDb, but I'm putting it in my own words because obviously I have to research it, and I'm getting all the information from them. But I'm wording it in my own way. I'm not like thieving their work for plagiarists. I don't want to be a plagiarist either.
No.
But I'm getting the information that was about the did you know that from IMDb, and I'm giving them credit in the reference section of where I get it from each of the movies and each of their locations and each of their URLs, and I'm wording it in my own way, so it is my own work. There's loopholes like that you have to know as an author,
Yeah. Well, getting you've obviously had a lot of success getting interviews with these people, and that's one area where you and I can both relate. But it has its ups and downs, and sometimes you get turned down. Who has turned you down?
So far, of course, Shavar Ross. Melanie Kinnaman turned me down, but she said that she would be more than willing to do one in the future, possibly. The only reason why she can is because she's now writing a book.
Okay.
And she said it would be a conflict of interest. So
Okay.
even though it's an interview about her, she feels that if I interview her and ask questions that she is including in the book, it might take away sales from her, which I respect. I am an author. I understand exactly where she is coming from. I mean, I wouldn't want people interviewing me on an autobiography I'm doing about myself, and they learn my information from another source. You know what I mean? I do understand where she's coming from, and I respect that.
She's a very nice lady, too. Yep.
Yes, she explained herself. She did not. She wasn't rude. She didn't ignore me. She explained herself why she declined it in a polite manner, and I respect her wholeheartedly for that. Adrienne King said she's really busy. Like I said, I'm going to email her again and hopefully set one up. Me and you spoke about this already, and you asked him also for me after he declined me. Zach Ward, he was in A Christmas Story and Freddy vs. Jason, because he expects more of compensation, so to speak, or he doesn't like people profiting from his interviews.
I don't think he's looking for compensation, because I've had him on my show twice. But I think it's a matter of, and again, he was very polite about it. He wished you well,
right.
But I think the thing was, he he felt if people were going to be um, writing about him or whatever, yeah, so that he didn't want people making money off. I kind of get it because Zach Ward is not an A-lister, but yet I think he's a very talented guy. But I've had him on twice, but again, like I'm not making money off this, at least not right now. So
Right.
And
that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing, and that's why he would agree with you, because you're not making money off it, so you're not profiting off of himself. But like with me, if he were to do an interview for my book, people would be learning about him and about his career through my book, and he wouldn't be making anything off it, which I understand. I do understand that. I mean, he's more famous than a lot of the other celebrities that I have interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he's not, like, they're not famous, because they are. They have their own fan base, but he was in a lot of other movies besides just being known for Freddy vs. Jason. I mean, Christmas Story is one of them. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, he is known for these type of like a lot more movies than just being like, oh, he's the guy that was in Freddy vs. Jason. So I understand that, and like it wasn't like he did Freddy vs. Jason because he was maybe a fan of the franchise. Even it could have been more so that it was a job opportunity. I have a lot of people that I interviewed from Friday the 13th that did the interview, that did the movie only because it was a job and to put food on the table. And I understand that because it is a job, and that's their job. They didn't do it because they love the franchise. If I got hired, I do it because I love the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, but don't forget the ones that I did interview that said that was when there was no franchise. The main one being Stu Charno, who played Ted in Part 2. When there was Part 2, there wasn't even supposed to be a Part 2. It was supposed to just be the mom was a killer, Jason was dead, a dead boy. But then it came to the point that there was a Part 2, Jason is alive, the mom is dead, and Jason's a killer, and that's where the franchise kind of took off. But they didn't know that it was going to be a whole thing out of it when they were filming Part 2, so I understand where he was coming from. I was also declined by Craig Thomas, who played Ben in Part 7.
Okay.
That one kind of was annoying because he seemed to come off more arrogant about it.
Okay.
And it wasn't like he declined me because he didn't want to do an interview. He basically flat out said, and it was his exact words, he's not doing the interview because I'm not paying him.
Oh, wow.
He will not do any interviews unless he is getting a compensation from the person interviewing him. And it doesn't mean royalty-wise from the books. He means that if I'm going to take my time to interview him, whether or not his interview goes in my book or not, he's getting his payment before he conducts the interview.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of rude. I mean, I understand why he would do it because he is a bigger name guy, and he is a celebrity. But I mean, he's the only one that I encountered that messaged me back saying they requested compensation instead of saying no, I don't have time. Like, he literally flat out said he wants money first. Like, I never had all the other. I mean, I interviewed over 24 actors and actresses so far. And, I mean, for God's sakes, I interviewed Sean S. Cunningham, who directed the original film and wrote it, and I interviewed Harry Manfredini, who did the musical soundtrack for parts 1 through, 6, and then also did the musical soundtrack for parts 9 and 10. So, I mean, I interviewed them, and they are big names in Friday the 13th. If anybody should be requesting compensation for an interview, it should be them, and they willingly did an interview with me. Granted, they didn't do an interview vocally. They only said they would do an interview through email. So I gave them a list of questions, and they emailed me back with their answers, and I just copy and pasted in my book.
Yeah, that'll make them difficult for me. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I got Sean S. Cunningham through Victor Miller.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Victor Miller. Yeah, it was Victor Miller. He got me through Sean S. Cunningham, even though he's going through this whole debacle with him. And then I got Harry Manfredini. No, wait, it's actually backwards. Ron Milkey got me Sean S. Cunningham. Victor Miller got me Harry Manfredini.
Oh, okay.
Because Victor Miller and Sean S. Cunningham are on the outs, kind of, with their whole debacle over who owns the rights to the Friday the 13th at this point. I don't know if it's been settled or not, but I know they are kind of on the outs with that.
Okay.
And he actually vocally talked about that during my interview, but he said there's some things they could put in, but when he got to certain parts, he would say, this is off the record. And I said, don't worry, I won't put it in my book. It'll obviously be recorded, but I won't put it in my book.
Okay.
So there's some things I can't talk about, contractually, that I agreed with him and obligated with him that I can't talk about in any way, shape, or form that I just have knowledge of on my own base.
No problem. Yeah.
Yep. And Bonnie Hillman, I interviewed her. She was great. Actually, video chatted with her on Facebook Messenger, and she was great. She was just on an episode of Mom, so she was talking about that. Mom is like a new sitcom that's out. She
Yep.
was on that.
Yeah.
She talked about she was actually was work. She has a part-time job at the casting agency, and she took time out of working to do the interview. It was great.
Was she eating a
Who
banana?
else? Huh?
Was she eating a banana?
Nope, she wasn't eating a banana, but it was funny. The one story she told was amazing. It was hilarious.
Okay.
She said about where she was about to do the banana scene,
Yep.
and they were going to do the death scene.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Now, how many takes am I doing this?" And they said, "You have to do it." She said, "As many as it takes." But we would like to get it done in one take, because if you don't do it in one take, you're going to have to go back and hair and makeup, get this cast made for your throat again, for where the knife goes through, and that'll be 4 hours each time. She's like, "Oh, good Lord, 4 hours each time. I better get this right on the first take." And he goes, "Yep." And she said they were setting up the set, and here comes Joseph Zito, the director, with a bag full of bananas. He goes, "Oh, good Lord, please tell me I'm not going to be eating a bag full of bananas." He goes, "Depends on how long it takes, how many it takes." She's like, "Oh my gosh," she heard all these horror stories about food and about doing food, filming food scenes and everything. And she said by the end of this, she goes, "I'm not going to be able to look at a banana the same again." And she said that she only did it in one take with the banana scene, but they used the bag of bananas because they had to mush it up, and they had to put it in, because when she was eating the banana, she wasn't able to do the death scene with the banana in her mouth, because they didn't want her to choke.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
what they did is they mushed up a bunch of bananas, and when the knife actually went through the cast, then they ended up putting the mushed bananas in her mouth, and they filmed it dripping out, and it was like basically a 5-second scene just clipped into a whole scene.
Okay.
So she said that's what they used all the excess bananas for, was to make it look like she was actually spitting it up, and they like mixed some fake blood in with it and everything.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. I actually plan on interviewing Diana Barrows, who played Maddie in Part 7. She actually messaged me the other day, because she was asking me how about the acid reflux I've been having, and about me having to get a scope done and all this, that, and the other. And she was just concerned. I wanted to see how I'm doing. And I was kind of shocked, because, a celebrity private messaging me just to see how I'm doing, and everything was really great. And we must have messaged each other for about a good 2 hours. And then I asked her about if she would like to do an interview. She's like, "Absolutely." She goes, "Would you want to do it before or after your procedure?" I said, "I don't care. I'm free really anytime. I mean, I'm just not free anymore in the mornings, because I have office hours with the college. So, but I'm more than happy to do an interview anytime, whenever you're free. Just give me a date and time. We'll set something up." I also have plans with Heidi Kozak, who plays Sandra in Part 7. However, it's like pulling teeth getting a hold of her, and it's not her fault. I know she's busy, because they recently had the Part 7, something going on with Part 7 out in L.A., and she was busy then doing something for that when I recently got a hold of her. But I messaged her back in August of last year, and she read it but never got back to me. So I recently messaged her like a week ago, and she read it, but she never got back to me. And then about a day or two later, she messaged me. She goes, "Scotty, I'm so sorry. I keep not getting back to you. I apologize. I really would like to get set up an interview with you. I'm just so hectic, and there's something going on with Part 7 now, and I'm with the whole cast and crew, and it's hard for me to get in touch with that and do another conventional appearances and filming and all that. But she said I would be more than happy to do an interview with you. Give me a couple dates and times, and I'll see if I can fit my schedule and come back with something if it doesn't work." And then I told her date and times, and she read it and never got back to me again. So I'm waiting to hear back again.
Okay.
It's like pulling teeth with her, but it's like she's nice and she wants to do the interview. She's actually responding to me when she can. So it's not like she's flat out ignoring me. But I know when she's famous, she has so many people on her Facebook. She has so many fans. So she probably forgets to message me back. I understand that, because she has so many people in her life that message her probably. So on top of that, and then doing other conventions and filming and all this different stuff going on, I understand that. So I'm not like holding that against her, because it's not like she's reading it and ignoring me. I write back, she reads it and ignores me. Like, it's not like that at all, and it's not like she declined me. She agrees to do the interview, and she's writing back to me. It's just a matter of when is she free and when am I free.
What's this acid reflux you say you have? What is that?
It is something like in my family, like my mom and uncle have it. It's called Barrett's esophagus.
Mm-hmm.
They have it's basically where you have like certain foods you eat, but I get it. I don't. I even get it when I don't eat foods. So it's like it's basically like the acid from your stomach coming up to your chest and up your throat, and it feels like you're gonna throw up, but it burns and you can't throw up because it's not really it's not vomit.
Yeah.
So I am currently I went to the doctor and they give me medicine for it and everything and all that, and they want me to try the medicine for 30 days. And if it doesn't get rid of it in 30 days, and they want me to try to eat foods that cause the acid reflux to see if the medicine works. And if it doesn't work in 30 days, or if I have issues with after the 30 days of taking the pills, they are going to do a endoscopy on me, which is where they're going to put me to sleep. I'll see a throat specialist, and they'll put me to sleep, and they will put a little tube down my throat while I'm passed out, and they will check to see if I have any nodules on my esophagus, and they'll see if I have Barrett's esophagus like my mom and uncle do. And if I do, then we found out why I have acid reflux. And when they do that, then I'll have to be on medicine probably the rest of my life at that point to prevent it, because that's how you treat it. And then they will, and then like I don't know if I'm guessing they remove the nodules and everything off me and whatnot. But I do have another appointment on the 23rd to talk about all this and that and the other. So we're gonna see what happens from there. But yeah, I mean it's scary because I never had it done before. My mom said it's a simple procedure. It's not nothing major. It's nothing bad. But if left untreated, it can cause stomach and throat cancer because it builds up all the acid from your stomach into your throat, and it can just cause throat and stomach cancer. So you have to get it if you have this, just best to get it treated. So anybody that has acid reflux, I recommend getting seen by your doctor to make sure, because if left untreated, my doctor told me I can cause that type of cancer, and obviously you don't want that. So it's better getting treated earlier than later. I mean, I was told I'm starting to get it. I never had it before. I'm starting to get it now that I'm getting older. My doctor told me my body's going through all these hormonal changes, and I'm almost out of my 20s. I just turned 28, so in a couple years I'm going to be 30. So he said my body's going through all these different types of changes, and one of them is that my body can't handle certain types of foods like it used to. So because of that, it's creating the acid, and it's going it's in my stomach, and it's going up to my throat, and it's also Barrett's esophagus is also genetic. So if I do have Barrett's esophagus, I got that from my mom and my uncle's side of the family, and it's just I just have to get it treated. That's all. And once I get it treated, I'll be fine. Like it won't turn into cancer if it's treated. But if it's left untreated, then it can turn into something worse.
Yeah. Well, I kind of have something like that too, where it just feels like it's a weird acid feeling, and I'm not even sure where it's caused, but just what you said. So,
Yep.
yeah,
I recommend getting checked because it's something that it could be something more serious, and you don't think much of it because it's like, oh, it's probably something I ate, or my body's not agreeing with something I ate or drank or whatever. But it could be something more, and I thought the same thing until I talked to my uncle about it, because he's in the medical field, and he's a Christian counselor now, and he also was a physician assistant and all that, and he knows all this stuff. And he told me I should get checked he's not the type. He doesn't tell you to go to the hospital or the doctor unless you really should go to the doctor or the hospital. Like if you really feel like it's something concerning. And he told me that I should get it checked. That's something that I did. And on top of that, like they told me I have tachycardia, which is a irregular heartbeat, which I did not expect because my pulse is supposed to be between 60 and 70, but at least no higher than 90 at most. But normal is 60 to 70 beats a minute, and mine was 137.
okay,
And then they checked it again 10 minutes later, and it was down to 118, which is still excessively high. So they told me I have tachycardia, which I go back on the 23rd to the doctor, and they're going to recheck my pulse and my blood pressure, because my blood pressure was high too, which they said could be caused from stress. I mean, I'm taking on a lot of projects, I mean more than I can handle in a day, but they don't think that's the full cause. So I go back on the 23rd of January, and I'm getting my blood pressure taken, my pulse rate again, and I'm also getting my VP levels checked because they were really low. That's supposed to be between 50 and 100, and it was at 13. And my red blood count was really high. So they are going to check all that again. And then also I'm getting an EKG done, which is a test for the heart, just to make sure that there's nothing more going on with my heart. And what they just, basically to rule things out.
yes, absolutely. Well, we're all hoping you have a clean bill of health and everything works out for you. Yeah.
And I tell my mom and dad, I'm like, of course this is happening to me now when I'm starting teaching and when and I mean, the thing is, I'm taking more than I can actually handle. I mean, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm editing other people's books. I'm, editing my uncle's book. I'm doing my own books. I'm teaching college on top of doing an interview with you and, prepping for the semester starting, which actually starts on Monday. And on top of all that, I have recreational stuff I want to do that I do for fun, like playing criminal case on Facebook and, talking to my friends, hanging out with some friends. There's so much stuff going on, and there's just not enough hours in the day, and I just get overwhelmed and stressed out by it, and then look what happens.
Yeah, I hear you. Yep.
Yep.
Well, you know what? We're
Crazy.
starting to dwindle down on time, but
Yep.
I would like to give you an opportunity to promote any websites or anything like that. Once again, plug where people can get your books.
Okay, sounds good. So you can buy all three of my books on Amazon. You can just search in there the Ultimate Halloween Trivia Book, the Ultimate Friday the 13th Trivia Book, and even Christ Defeats Cancer. Make sure it's by author Scotty McCoy because there are a Halloween trivia book out there and a Friday the 13th trivia book out there, not by me. So make sure you get the one by me, of course. You can also get all three books on Barnes & Noble and Walmart websites, also in the stores. Walmart's through major cities only, Barnes & Noble worldwide. Well, I know nationwide throughout the United States. I'm not sure about worldwide, but let me know if you know that. Also, you can like my Facebook fan page at www.facebook.com/smccoyauthor, or you can simply search for Scotty McCoy and go to the Pages tab on Facebook, and you'll be able to find me easily. I also have a fan page for each of my trivia books and my Christ Defeats Cancer book. If you want to like them too, you can. Go to www.facebook.com/F13 Trivia Book, which is the Friday the 13th Trivia Book website. You can go to www.facebook.com/Halloween Trivia Book for the Halloween Trivia Book site, and also www.facebook.com/Christ Defeats Cancer, which will be the Christ Defeats Cancer Facebook page. Also, if you want to visit my fan page, it is not updated. All it has on there right now is the Friday the 13th Trivia Book. I'm currently in the process of updating it, but like I said, so many projects, so little time. But I do plan on having it where I'm actually working on a part of the site where you would be able to order the book directly through my website, and it will send you to a download link where you can download the ebook of each of the books. And they'll be the same price, of course. You can order, but once that gets up, I'll be posting that to my fan pages. But if you want to visit my website, you can, which is www.smccoyauthor.com. You can visit that. My Instagram you can follow, the search Instagram, you can find me at smccoyauthor on there. And the same with Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at smccoyauthor as well.
Fantastic.
Yes,
well,
a lot of websites.
Yeah, well, I've just got Facebook and Twitter. That's it. I haven't tackled Instagram or LinkedIn or anything like that yet, but who knows? But I am going to say this: it was great to have you on here again, and I thank you for doing the Doubtfire Challenge, and hopefully we can get those Friday the 13th folks further involved with that. I know Nancy's a champion behind that as well. And like I said, next year, like I said, maybe January again,
Yeah.
I'll have you back on and see what the progress is. And
it would be an honor. And I mean, I'm sure by next January I'll have a Nightmare on Elm Street trivia book out. So it'll be even great to start promoting that one at this point. It was an honor to be on your show. I enjoy it. It's fun. I enjoy the publicity. I enjoy talking to you, and I enjoy, just talking about even the Doubtfire Challenge. That's such a great cause, and I think more people should get involved. We should make this go viral. I mean, for God's sakes, if that stupid thing where you're eating the laundry packet Tide things or whatever is going viral, why isn't the Doubtfire Challenge going viral?
Yeah. Well, problem with the industry is everything's like a trend. It's like when they did the fappening happen, where you found that every day was like, which actresses get some nude photos out there from their camera. And now the whole thing's with Harvey Weinstein, and that's a serious situation. But it's like a witch hunt. Which guy now has violated somebody, and it's almost like the media is looking for something just to talk about. And I
because
hate.
they run out of the actual good news, the actual news that matters to us as the United States and worldwide, even worldwide citizens. Like it's just they run out of the top, out of stuff to talk about, so they go into scandals, and it blows things out of proportion.
Well, it's like, the ice bucket challenge is really big, and I thought,
Yeah,
gee, like, it'd be great to do the Doubtfire challenge, but it's just like I like the
yeah,
pie in the face more than the ice bucket. But
yeah. I do too. I don't want to get. I don't want to be froze.
yeah, well, here's the thing: it's almost like well, we did ice bucket, we can't do two. Why not?
Why not? Exactly. Why not?
It's a good cause. Like, why not? I think the world would be a better place if people support charities like this. And I see these things online on Facebook all the time. Copy and paste the number for suicide prevention. The Doubtfire Challenge, at least, is an active thing people are doing. A lot of people, ignore this copy and paste or send off. A lot of people ignore that.
Yeah. And the thing is, they say we have the Ice Bucket Challenge, why not the Doubtfire Challenge? Why do we have two? Of course, like you said, why not? I mean, that's a charity, and it's helping out people that are depressed and have suicidal tendencies. What about cancer nonprofit organizations? What about, for brain cancer, for breast cancer?
Yep.
What about for homeless charities?
Yep.
All these charities, there are more than one homeless charity. There's more than one cancer, brain cancer charity, more than one animal charity, more than one, breast cancer charity. There's all these different types of charities. You vote for your favorite one. But I mean, you give money to your favorite one or whatever. We're not even asking for money. There's an Ice Bucket Challenge and there's a Doubtfire Challenge. There's also SPCA, but there's also ASPCA, and there's all these different types of charities for other organizations. So of course there could be more than one for this as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not any different.
Yep. And I think it's better getting people in the industry involved because that's what people want to see. So.
Yes, exactly. I mean, look at the Ice Bucket Challenge. That went to the industry. I mean, there was I saw a bunch of people from Once Upon a Time TV series, from wrestling. Like, all these different people were doing the Ice Bucket Challenge. Celebrities, actors, actresses, authors, artists. Like, they're musicians. They're all doing the Ice Bucket Challenge, and they're doing it because it caught on. Well, that's something we have to do with the Doubtfire Challenge. We have to make it catch on, and we have to. And once you catch that one specific celebrity that is really well known and does it, it's going to be golden from there.
I know Laura Park Lincoln said when she does it, she's going to nominate Kane Hodder because she said he'll do anything, she says. But I mean, if you
he will.
are you connected with people from Once Upon a Time or wrestling in any way?
I do talk to some of the Once Upon a Time cast on Twitter, but I don't have a conversation with them like I do with those from Friday the 13th. But I have spoken to some of them every now and again and heard back from them. Like, for example, the lady that played the evil Queen Lana Priya, I spoke to her a few times. We messaged each other a few times. She follows me on Twitter, but I don't have a relationship with her like I do with everybody else. I would love to, because she is my favorite actress of all time, but I am not at that point. But I am able to private message her. So now that you mentioned that, I could throw out the Doubtfire Challenge to her and let her know about it.
If you want to, if you feel comfortable. Sometimes,
I would just I know she would do it. I know she would. She's got that type of personality.
Oh, perfect. Because that's the one thing too. Sometimes just judging from tone, you don't know. Some people, it's like, do I approach them about this or do I not?
Nana Priya is really nice, especially when I talked to her. I never met her. I really wanted to meet her, but I never met her. But I spoke to her a few times. She was very, very personable, very approachable, very kind-hearted. But when I seen behind the scenes footage of her on set and all that, she is a riot. She is a character, and I've seen videos of her at conventions. She's singing and she's dancing, and she's doing these joking lesbian things with Rebecca Motter, who played Zelina, the Wicked Witch, who was her sister on the show, and they're best friends in real life. They pretend they're gonna make out, and then they just stop, and they just have she has that personality that she's a riot. She's fun to hang around with, fun to be with, very approachable. And I've gotten that from her from those videos, and I love talking to her. I talked to her maybe 2 or 3 times at most, and she was nice every time.
All right. Well, you know what? We're coming right to the end of our time, and like I said, I've had fun. I'm glad to have you on here, promote your book, and like I said, maybe next January we'll have you on here again, start us off, and do more promotion. The door's open, and
I would love that.
Just be patient on this being out. I'll keep you posted, but don't know when yet, but just know it's going to happen. But before
Sounds
you
good.
go,
I'm looking forward to it.
you're open to do a plug for my show.
Absolutely. This is Scotty McCoy. I am the author of the ultimate Halloween trivia book, Christ Defeats Cancer, and, of course, the ultimate Friday the 13th trivia book. And I have just appeared on Greg Gilbert's Python's Paradise.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you, Scotty, and keep smiling at
Same to you,
work.
Greg.
Keep smiling at work, you know. You're the only one, I think.
Will.
I think you're the only one that does that.
Well, the thing is, I don't have that job anymore. I was let go back in September, so I now started teaching. So now prepare yourself for a lot more selfies of me sitting in my computer chair at my office while I'm helping students learn about programming.
And smiling, of course.
Of course.
Or
Thank you so much, Greg, for having me.
Or tearing your hair out, depending on which.
I woke up at 2 a.m., so I ended up getting an email already. I'm like, oh, this is already starting.
Well, God bless you, and you have yourself a wonderful evening.
Same to you, Greg. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Bye.
All right. Bye.